welcome back to Quest 3DS. You could very well be new here, or you might be returning after a binge watch of previous episodes, but either way, let me tell you what I'm doing. My mission is basically to find every single PAL Nintendo 3DS game. By PAL, what I mean is that's the standard for Europe, so the United Kingdom and the periphery of Europe as well. There's apparently 500 odd games that came out for the Nintendo 3DS, and I want to get one of each. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a sort of chronicle of what it's going to take to get there. I've got a fair few of the games already, but we've got a fair list of ones that we've got to try and get. So I've got another 5 games which I've picked up recently, which are reasonably priced ones just to check off the list, and I want to share them with you. First up is Mike the Knight. This one was published by GSP. We've had a couple of those on this channel before this point. I think Heavy Fire was one of them. But I think they also did like the Thomas Tank Engine game as well. They had a couple of licensed bits and pieces. But this one, yeah, it's pretty simple fare, based I think on a kids' TV program. So it's Mike the Knight and the Great Gallop. And this was released in 2016, so it's actually quite a late release for the 3DS. Now, one thing that's worth noting with this console in particular is that third-party support dried up comparatively quick compared to its predecessor, just the DS. That there wasn't really a huge amount of third-party support for the 3DS like we enjoyed on the DS and how we've enjoyed on the Switch from this point on. So the Wii U and the 3DS were kind of in that weird point of time where you were waiting quite a lot of time between releases coming out, and a lot of it was child-friendly fodder like this. But this was a cheap game. It was only a handful of quid and it came from CEX. So I want to say it was probably about £6 max, including the postage. And it's up to you really whether you want to add this to your collection, but considering it's relatively unusual, I'd say it might be worth picking up while it's not really that expensive and just check it off your list. The next one to come up is Sports Island 3D. On the other end of the scale from Mike the Knight, it's actually quite an early game. I think this is from 2011. But yeah, it was Hudson that created this one. Very much like Wii Sports, if you remember that from 2006. You know, every year the Wii comes out at Christmas time, and the one game that's in it is Wii Sports, and it's the one game you want to play. This is very similar. So this has football, tennis, sumo wrestling, bowling, snowmobile racing, basketball, ice hockey, trampoline, snowball fight, and sport blowgun. But yeah, it's not a particularly expensive one. That one, that's about £5. Well worth checking off the list, and quite glad that I've got it now. It's one that I just hadn't picked up over the years because I didn't really see that many copies of it, even when I was working in video game retail back in the day. So in the collection it goes. Next one up, not really much to say about this one, but Spy Hunter. Another story of how I just really let this go by over the years and never really bothered to pick it up. From the back of the box, the graphics look pretty good. It's sort of 3D affair. You get different sort of vehicles that you can drive, or at least an evolution of the vehicle that you've got on the front. And it's a Warner Brothers Games from 2012, and was developed by TT Fusion, who I believe are Traveller's Tales, and they obviously would make the Lego games, copious amounts of on the 3DS. Yeah, you can get unlockable car skins through Street Pass. Remember Street Pass was a thing? That was great, wasn't it? Why didn't they bring that back? But yeah, it was £4, I think. Pleased with that. Next one up is Horrid Henry. The Good, the Bad and the Bugly. This one here, I think, is based on a series of books. I think it might be Jacqueline Wilson's books, this. Kind of like her art style. Could be massively wrong with that, but it kind of looks like her sort of caricatures and stuff. But yeah, it looks like sort of a 2.5D platformy games where you explore 3 unique and bizarre worlds, solve a variety of horrid puzzles along the way, and 4 new types of goo for Henry's Goo Shooter. New types. So does that mean this was on something else before? Was it on the normal DS? I can't say that I've ever seen it on anything else, and I thought that this was just on the 3DS. But again, my sort of handheld gaming lure is quite weak. I did collect a fair few normal DS games, but that was stuff that I really, really wanted. Whereas 3DS, I'm going after everything. So, you know, the two don't go hand in hand. You know, things you want and everything. 2011, so very early into the 3DS's life, and made by Asylum Entertainment and Novel Entertainment as well, with Europress. Welcome to the collection, pal. The last one is actually worth more than all these previous four, and quite lucky that I found this one when CEX did a price change on it, and that is Spider-Man Edge of Time. I forgot about this one. I knew that Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 movie license sort of tie-ins were on the 3DS because they were sort of 2012, 2014-ish, which is what I consider the main run of the 3DS, sort of between that time. But this one's a little bit earlier, from 2011, by Activision. There's also sort of console versions of this. I think it's a Wii version, PS3, 360. Looking back at the box, it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. It probably is deceiving me with how good those screenshots look, but it looks to be like a sort of a 3D type affair. And I know that the previous handheld Spider-Mans have been sort of 2.5D, stemming back to, God, Spider-Man 2 on the original DS back in, 2004, 2005? But I've always been quite keen on Spider-Man as a character, so getting this one cost me £15, minus the postage, and it's going to be one of those that is probably going to keep rocketing up. The sort of time of filming this, which we're in sort of a chilly November night of 2023, this on eBay is 50 quid. So that's the only copy that I can find from a seller in the UK. So yeah, I can't see it ever being worth less than what was at least CEX are selling it for. So if you are going to 3DS games, don't forget this one. It's very easy to overlook it, and grab it when you can. Okay, so that's the 5 games for this episode, and we'll be back with another episode shortly. And happy collecting.